there is an ongoing issue regards to the statements made by Jacinta Price, Senator for the Northern Territory. I'll just look up, just verify, because she did swap political parties. She was national, apparently, and I thought she wasn't national. I thought she was something else. But is currently a senator for the Northern Territory, arrived in 2022. She is, does it have, yep, okay, so she has Warlpiri Indigenous heritage, so it's doesn't protect her from criticism when she says things, and I find it kind of interesting that people are willing to criticize an Aboriginal woman for saying things that only because they disagree with it, whereas they'd be almost afraid to criticize her because of her heritage, which is racist in and of itself. But why she's such a polarizing figure right now is she made some statements during an ABC interview that said that the Australian Labor Party were trying to pad support for their positions and for their ability to retain power or to get elected in by bringing in migrants. In particular, or using the Indian migrant community as the example. That's what she said. In response, though, the response has gone way out of balance with the actual statement. Had people just ignored it and moved on, it would have fallen out of circulation, and people just would have gone, okay, well, it wasn't great. It was pretty tone deaf. But the way that reactions have come forward, and people have tried to force her to apologise, she's refusing to apologise, which just further upsets people because people are like, we can't cancel you. You're an Aboriginal woman, but you've got to apologise. And she's like, no, there's nothing to apologise for, which only further upsets people. But you're now getting these statements that Indian Australian community leaders are demanding an apology from her. It seems excessive to force a demand for the statement she made. It seems out of proportion to what had been said. And so you've got the Indian community saying that. Well, actually, I'll bring up the ABC article because it's written by someone of Indian heritage, and throughout it, it's like they look at not just the statements from Jacinta Price, but how they felt during the protests that they claim as racist. And throughout the article, it's Indian doctors, lots of Indian doctors. Okay, cool. Skilled migration, fantastic. It works like it is. We need to have solidarity with each other. We are here. We provide a service in Australia. Okay, well, yeah, you do that. But it's almost a tone-deaf statement because the complaints and issues raised by people are going completely over their heads. And statements like there was it's important for her to apologise to the Indian community. Again, why? It was targeting the Labor Party. it will acknowledge the hurt caused, show genuine regret, and contribute to healing within Indian Australia's multicultural communities. It's like, okay, she didn't insult the Indian community at all. She was insulting Labor's approach to shoring up support. And so it's a perceived hurt, but as they say, offence is received, not given. So Jacinta Price may not have intended offence. That doesn't matter because offence was received by people that were a peripheral part of her argument. And they're pulling together, showing them. Now, I talked before about how people shouldn't see the Indian migrant population as a monolithic entity because of the number of subcultures within the Indian community, but they're they're pulling together to basically force a block. And it's like, well, people are complaining about an unwillingness to integrate, an unwillingness to um, basically be an integral part of society. Oh, we're all Indian doctors. Well, are you Indian doctors or are you Australian? Um, it's people saying, oh, we've never seen such negative attention. Where have you been the last 10 years? You've been ignorant of what's been going on in society. You've not been listening to anything around you. You've been living in a bubble surrounded only by. It's tone deaf statements that they're making because they feel that. Okay, fine, that's how they feel, but they're not seeing how that's contributing to the perception held by others about their role or their position within society. And it's okay, yep, it kind of to be expected that there'd be some increase in negative statements after the rallies and stuff like that. It's sad, but should be expected. Same goes for anything, anywhere, really. That, yep, really positive statements there about working towards overcoming division and being constructive. And, well, the unity is not about Australians. The unity is about Indian Australians. They're keeping themselves apart, even in that statement. And the interpretation of these statements is like, we need to embrace Australia for what it has given us. Well, okay, well, what did you give Australia in return? Or what have you given Australia? Have you just come to take from Australia? Because a statement like that, you might as well have heard that from the NSN guys on the weekends. It's thinking that you can get away with saying things like that without people stopping to look at it and criticise why it is tone deaf. That led to things like the Cronulla riots. Well, they weren't targeting Indians, so largely targeting Lebanese and other Islamic peoples in the Cronulla area. But yeah, it's statements like this just ooze superiority, and it's like, well, okay, we love having you here. You're coming here to provide a vital role to skilling and jobs that are otherwise going unfilled or can't be filled. And it's great to have additional members of the community. It's like, well, no. You can't think about Australia without us. Well, we can. because you should be thinking of the Australian economy as Australian. Are you here to be Australian or are you here to be Indian? And you're blowing the situation up from the statements that Jacinta Price made, and obviously on the weekend of those protests on the weekend. But people are dragging what Jacinta Price said into it all and blowing that up as well. And it's just odd that they can't see, that people can't see how statements like that can be upsetting or can antagonize the situation. It's I mean, even stuff like this, when I think about the rallies, I also remember that these people protesting are not the original owners of the land. Their ancestors were migrants too. And it's like, it's dismissive of the complaints. It's dismissive of the grievance felt by others. The only grievance that counts is their own. And that upsets people. It's like they've not had consequence for their well, they have. I mean, they've received racist reactions and responses which aren't helpful. Clearly not. Those sort of things should never happen. But how do these sort of statements promote integration into Australian society? How do they promote support from other diaspora, from other migrants, from Australians themselves? On the day when any immigration rally was being held, I was working for 20 hours saving the lives of Caucasian patients. Were you saving the lives of Australians, or are you making a racist statement in and of yourself? Because, I mean, I don't know how many other words there are to explain it. And this is why people are like, well, why do these protests happen? It's only must just be racist. It's like, well, no, there's a series of complaints, and they're not being helped by statements from either side. Teams made up of immigrants from various countries. Yep, cool. Yet after this, I feel afraid in my country. I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to India. Okay, fine. Good luck. Or to the Middle East, where the pay is higher and the respect is greater. Okay, why are you being a surgeon here then? Do you demand we kowtow in front of you? Actually, that's a Chinese thing. That we bow in front of you and spread rose petals everywhere you walk and celebrate you because you can slice someone? Or because you're Indian? No. You should be respected because you're a person here in Australia contributing a valuable skill to the community and part of the Australian community. You might have Indian heritage, but here you're an Australian. Well, he doesn't see himself as that. He's not the only one disappointed. So it's it doesn't help. It really doesn't help. And I mean, clearly, again, you're looking at media articles that are coming from a certain political slant. So you should not be surprised that this shows up as such. The Did I have another article? Right. So just on what I mean, isolating from the protest just down to what Jacinta Price had said, it's like doesn't cut the mustard. She must apologise. Again, she was using the Indian community as an example to support the argument about the Labor Party, and they're getting their backs up over it. And it's like, well, walk past it, let it go. You weren't the target of the point. And the fact she's refusing to apologise just seems to anger them even more. And it's like, well, yeah, all migrants are coming in providing things, but it's just like, are you special or are you part of the community? Are you part of the Australian community? Yeah, we can recognise that you've all come from a specific ethnic background. Yay, good for you. Congratulations. Thank you for bringing your contributions to the country. But are you an Australian? Or are you still. Okay, Sikh is a faith, it's also a people, but it's. Given the violence that took place in the US yesterday and the last few weeks, I don't have much hope for what's happening going to happen this weekend. I don't think things are going to be really good. Again, offence is received, not given. Um, you can believe what you want. It, it. I don't think it met the criteria for a racial slur, and yet they're demanding this, demanding that. And it's like, tone down the aggressive nature of your speech, maybe.